Hi, witches.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to be doing some witchcraft for The Office. And
Yeah.
I when I got promoted, I was going to have like a bigger office, a nice little swanky place that I can decorate. So I got a bookshelf because I wanted plants, and then I had some binders I had to do. So I ended up getting a really cute little book called The Witch in Office, and I was like, damn, Brandy needs this. I'm gonna get her the one too. So I did.
Facts. I do. I do need this.
So we were gonna look through the book together. Well, not together, but like pick different spells out of each of the book. But there has been a lot of things happening within the office where I work. So I have just forgotten my book. But not to worry, I came prepared. I just am not taking anything from this book. So if you want anything from the book, then listen to her more than me. But cleansing the space, my office space, with some sage. So anyways, okay, so my office has some moments of tension. I work for an HOA, and it's not necessarily like homes, like houses, it's condos. So it's apartment living, but for owners. And we got like amenities, and we have some people who are not so nice, and we have others who are great. And then sometimes the office gets really tense, either with interactions with people, interactions with each other, or whatever is going on. It really
People
just
leaving
depends
their
on the
stank
day.
ass energy in there.
Yeah. And I'm very lucky to have an assistant who doesn't necessarily like believe in the occult, but like really likes incense. So I bet you bottom dollar we cleanse that space all the fucking time, every morning without a doubt. But also it's like the rainy hurricane season in South Carolina right now, so everything is muggy, everything is humid, and you could just walk into a place. Like my office is the most humid location in the entire fucking world. But I like my fucking setup. I have a double like monitor. I have my laptop and I have my monitor. I like my space. I like my little clacking keyboard. But it's so fucking hot in there. So it's just muggy, gross, and disgusting, and it smells musty. So
Ew.
we light incense because let me tell you, a little bit, like one little tiny stick of incense, the entire mustiness is gone for the day.
Nice.
Kind of sucks though, because like when people come in and it's burning, like, and it goes straight to their face, and I'm just like, okay, you're the problem.
Right? You are the problem. Hi, you're the problem. It's you.
Right? And it's like, well, maybe they just walk through some bad energy on the way up here. I don't know. But anyways, that's kind of where the majority of my stuff comes from. Brandy works in a different type of office setting,
I
so
do.
she has more based on her needs. So, again, I work in a HOA, so there's always some type of conflict happening. So I decided to look up some type of harmony type spell. So this is kind of catered towards office settings, but this is basically to promote that fair decision making. So it can help reduce the conflict, and it also helps encourage that respectful dialogue. And let me tell you, there has not been some respectful dialogue happening in my office recently, and I need this now. And it's really funny because the board president came in and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this," and I was like, "Listen, I have an emotional support dumpster fire like little plushie on my desk," and I was like, the property's not on fire right now. Everything's kind of like coming to a close, or it's like just kind of sitting still right now. There's nothing on fire. I was like, so something has to happen. And of course it's staff. It's the staff. And he just really likes to get involved. And I'm just like, well, first off, like there are policies that are being broken of things that you cannot control. So like
Right. Stay in your lane.
I was like, okay, I get it. You have concerns. I do too, but like, there's like 8 different policies being broken over on this end. So I need you to calm down. And like, once I meet with HR, once I meet with my bosses and we come up with a plan, we'll meet with you and let you know everything else. Thank you. Please.
Stay in your lane.
Like, it's taken you 6 months to see the concerns that have been going on for 5 years. So I'm trying to
Ooh.
break 5 years worth of a cycle. Back the fuck up. Anyways. So you're going to need a small bowl with lavender and chamomile. And honestly, I also like burning candles with all of my like little tiny spells. So you can, get a candle if you want for this. But if you do, please get fireproof. I really like the little kind of like cauldrons because they're cast iron.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have a little cauldron, but just something that can burn. You're going to need a silver coin, specifically a silver coin. I honestly would probably do 20 or like if you're in America, I would do like the 25-cent piece, mainly because you just need 4 to make like 1. So I'm symbolizing like the 4 people in my office because there's 4 of us. So like, I would use the 25-cent because it's like 1 for each one of us. And then you're going to need a feather. Now, some people believe that like colors are a thing, that colors mean something. So if you are that kind of person, pick a color based on like the harmonious governance that you're kind of looking for. I would say something like white because I feel like a dove with like an olive branch,
Like peace,
it
purity, kind
is
of.
like for that piece. So if you're going to use a candle or a feather or anything like that, use the color white. I would also say use blue. I know blue's got like other meanings, but when I see blue, I think calm. So
I agree.
I'm just a very calm person when I see blue. It's my favorite color. So I would say use blue or white for a color scheme here. So wherever you meet the most often, so if you have like a meeting room or if you meet in an office, you're going to place that bowl with that lavender and chamomile near the meeting area. Before any discussions, you can touch the coin, touch the feather, touch anything that's inside of it, or light the candle for a bit. And you can say stuff like, let words be weighed, not wielded, let fairness guide, not pride. You can put all of your intention into this next meeting to get, that harmony going, that peaceful energy kind of going through. And so, and if you don't want to use the lavender, chamomile, silver, or whatever, you can use other items. Lavender and chamomile were picked because they are both calming herbs. Lavender, every time. Lavender promotes that peace and emotional balance, while chamomile is associated with soothing tension and encouraging gentle communication. So they can create that peaceful field effect. That is ideal for those heated discussions. The silver coin was picked because it's traditionally linked to fairness, intuition, and lunar energy. It represents that value and impartiality. So it's perfect for invoking balance, decision making. For your feather, it symbolizes that like that lightness, that freedom, and the sorry, Will just texted me and was like, okay, I'm parked. He's getting groceries right now. So let me get him all situated. I've parked. I'm already here. Number 2. Thanks. Okay. So, anyways, the feather symbolizes lightness, that freedom, and the air element. And air is related to communication. So, it is that gentle nudge towards speaking with grace rather than forceful nature that a lot of people come at you with. And we're in a time where words can be flipped really, really easily. There is no way, shape, or form of like speaking without force. There is always some type of force. It's just how are you communicating it? So those are some things you can do for your harmonious governance. It's all about your
Okay.
intention, though. So if you don't have those items, pick items that are similar to
Yeah,
the
there's
idea.
correspondences. You can find other
Yeah.
items that
And
work.
some things are cheaper to get than others. So, like,
Yeah.
if you want to do one and not the other, that's fine. I like lavender and chamomile not only because it smells really, really nice. So if you have like water and you like let them soak in it, then you can have like a nice um like you could spray the air or the area with all
Mm-hmm.
of those things.
Yeah. And those are two that are fairly easy to find where we live.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I do work in a different sort of office setting. I work for Head Start. So, well, I work for an agency that provides Head Start services, in the nonprofit world. And, right now my staff is all women, which automatically takes up the stakes when it comes to like workplace drama and gossip and things like that. And then we also work with children and families who have a lot of trauma. So we get a lot of secondhand trauma. The first bill I'm going to talk about, though, has nothing to do with that. I am the supervisor. So I have a staff of 11, which is a lot. It's more than I've ever had to manage before. And sometimes they come to me with things and I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And then I get imposter syndrome.
But you know what?
So
That's fine though.
yeah, so that's
You're
what this
always
first spell is
growing.
about. This first spell is about it would be good if you are having imposter syndrome, if you have an
Ooh,
interview, which I also am going through that. I'm in the interview process for a possible promotion.
I need this just for confidence. Just
This is a boost your confidence spell. It's best done during the waxing moon. And that's because that's when you are like supercharging your manifestations and visualizations. You can also do it at other times, like if you have an audition or an interview or something coming up, you can do it then. But most potent during the waxing moon. And it is going to be using the fire element and the water element. And if you get into like spirit animals and like spirit
like an
guides,
oracle deck kind of thing.
yeah, you can welcome salamanders. They're going to be good for this one. Yeah.
I love salamanders. They're so fucking cute.
Yeah. So, there you go. Salamanders. Mainly in this instance for this spell, you're going to be using them as a fire spirit. There's another kind of spirit that it mentions, and I'm not sure what it is. So I'm going to just look it up real quick so I know what I'm talking about. Oh, they're just water spirits. Okay, they're called, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but they're called undines or undines. And those are the water spirits. So you're invoking those elements by calling their spirits. So what you're going to need, you're going to need a red candle to represent the fire element. If you were calling on the salamanders, you're going to need 2 red candles. You're going to need one for fire and one for the actual salamanders. You're going to need a mirror, preferably one that can be vertical, but if not, find something to prop it up with. And that's to represent the water element. And if you're calling upon the water spirits, you're going to want a blue candle. You're going to set up your candle in your mirror. You want the mirror to show the reflection of the candle. And if possible, you also want your reflection to be visible in the mirror. If you're calling, so that's the red candle, by the way, to represent fire, and the mirror. And then if you're calling upon the spirits to join you, you're going to put the additional red candle in the south direction on your altar and the blue candle to the west direction on your altar. And to call on the elementals, you're going to face the south direction and say something along the lines of, guardians of fire salamanders, I invite you to guide me in this ritual. guard the circle, protect this energy. And then you're going to face west and repeat, but you're going to say guardians of water, undines, and say the rest of it. Then you're going to cast your circle, light your candles, and get into a comfortable position. You're going to stare into the flame of the red candle and visualize yourself achieving or completing what's been causing you stress. So if you're anxious about a job interview, you're going to see yourself having that interview, and you're going to imagine all the things that you're sitting there confidently, that you're answering their questions with quality answers. And you're going to imagine yourself shaking hands and accepting the position, all while you're staring into this flame. When you, as you're watching the flame, as the flame like dances and flickers, you're going to imagine yourself flickering and standing out among the others who are applying for the position. And then you're going to repeat the following, or something similar if something feels better to you. You're going to say, let me stand out, let me be seen. What is yet to come is meant to be. Fire and water work together. Let the one they choose to remember be me. Something along those lines. And then for as long as you feel the need, you're going to meditate with that flame. If you can see your own reflection in the mirror, you're going to watch how the flame encircles you and allows you to shine brighter. And then you're going to, when you feel like the spell is complete, you're going to thank the elementals for joining you if you called them. And then close your circle and remember the flame of the candle surrounding you when you're in your interview or meeting or whatever situation you are doing the spell for. So that's your boost your confidence spell.
You know what? We always need some type of confidence in life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I get imposter syndrome really badly. So, like, I'm very much here for it.
And that's how I feel in my job, to be quite honest. Like, especially when I'm reading, like, the documents. This is a great segue into, like, my moment. This is me. Into my next little spell. Mainly because I have, I don't want to say imposter syndrome, because honestly it's literally just like calling vendors, getting things set up, like making sure it's all about communication. But there's moments that, like, you have to read legal documents, or you have to navigate certain things with vendors, with homeowners, with the board, with, like, even your own people. And sometimes that can get really confusing for you, for them, for everything. So, like, this next one is for, the bureaucratic clarity. So making sure that you're cutting through all the red tape, you're leaving the confusion behind, and you are addressing the passive aggressive email chains appropriately. Now, again, this is very HOA, my office based. So if you have, like, something that you either struggle with understanding or struggle with, you just want to make sure that you have better clarity on, in terms of, like, how you shell out that information. So that whatever you're struggling with, that's what you're going to want a printed copy of, or, if it's something on, like, an iPad or your phone, whatever it is, just leave it there. And you'll just use that as your copy of whatever. But for, like, my reasoning for this, it would be the HOA bylaws. It's a legal document. It is 90 something pages long. It is a very, very hard to read document. And there's some language in it that obviously is very legal based, and it has to be that way. But it can get very confusing. There's quite a few things within it that it's like, oh, well, that would be the HOA's thing, but this is technically a homeowner thing. Well, if this is it, then it's that. And some homeowners don't understand it. And not gonna lie, I don't always understand it either. I think I worked almost like 9 months at this position, and I still struggled with it. with the deed, and I had looked at it all the time. And I ended up having
No.
just to call our attorney and just get clarity on quite a few things. And that was great money well spent on the board. Because obviously we pay her for that. And I appreciate it. She nickels and dimes us though. Like whenever we get the invoice, I just see spent 15 minutes with Emily and discussing this and understanding that, or looking over this document for 5 minutes. And I was like, oh, I get it. But damn it. It's like the best
Yeah.
$3.50 an hour ever spent for my job. But anyways, so you're going to need a printed version of whatever. So mine is the HOA bylaws. You're going to need that clear quartz crystal and a blue pen. For this, you're going to circle your quartz 3 times over the bylaws while saying, "Let clarity reign, let confusion wane. What's written shall be understood." Whether that's by you, by somebody else, that remains to be seen. However, you're going to keep that crystal near your desk or your inbox or like your laptop if it's like your mail. But you're going to keep that near you at all times. That way you can invoke that energy from the crystal to be able to speak of like what you need to work on. And the quartz is like the jack of all trades. It's known as like the master healer. So it helps amplify your intention, and it helps clear that mental fog. I don't know exactly where it is in like the chakra hierarchy, but I feel like it's going to be someplace up here in the head. So either in the mouth or like in the brain, one of those local areas. But it's like a metaphysical highlighter. It helps bring that transparency out and that focus out to you, to kind of help, you know, get all of that done. But providing that, for instance, the HOA bylaws, providing that item that needs clarity by you or by other people, it's basically like saying like you need to work within these rules, not around them. So you're not changing anything. You're taking what's already written out rules and regulations and having your magic work within it and within the bounds of those rules, and not necessarily like outside of them, because if it's outside of them, it's not going to work. The blue pen specifically is the blue is the color of truth, logic, and calm authority. Ha ha ha, just like before. So writing with it will help reinforce that clarity and that trustworthiness, especially when you're trying to speak to homeowners about situations that are not in their favor.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
there's that.
I feel like that could also work though with any, like I could apply that to my position because we have like a family handbook and the families are like, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. And I'm like, really? Because you signed off that you did.
Oh yeah, all
And
the time.
so that would be adaptable to my position as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking about how my position I have mainly female staff. In fact, in our entire agency, I think there's like 4 males total. Um, so we have a lot of gossiping, and I'm not saying that men don't gossip, but women do it more. Like, let's just be real.
It's yeah.
And so this is an end gossiping spell because honestly, right now, gossip is probably one of the biggest issues that I'm having. And not only am I having the issue, but I also struggle with it. Like when somebody comes up to you and starts spilling the tea, it's really hard to be like, hey, that doesn't have anything to do with my job. I don't need to know that. Let's please keep this professional.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I need this as well. um, so obviously it's going to be better to try to end the gossip by talking to people and explaining the why and doing all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
we know that humans are human and it's
Even
not
that
going to,
isn't always
yeah,
enough.
it's not probably going to be enough. So this spell is going to call on air and fire to help stop the spread of gossip. This one is specifically to stop the spread of gossip about yourself, but you could adapt it to just stop gossip entirely.
What page is this on?
114.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, so you're going to need a box of matches or a book of matches to represent the fire element. Again, like with anything, you can find a corresponding item. Like you could do a red candle instead, or just a candle for fire element. A bowl of water to represent the water element. Which I'm just realizing that I said air, but I meant water. A bowl of water to represent the water element. A container that you can write on and put in the freezer, so a freezer safe container, and a black marker. So you're going to hold your item that's representing the fire element in your hand and think about the gossip that you know is being said. So if you're using matches, if you're using a candle, whatever it is. And then think about the person who's spreading the gossip and how it makes you feel. You're going to take your marker and your container and draw a big, bold X on the front. And you're going to repeat the following or something similar as you draw your X. The words that spread are unkind and true. They will freeze in this space from today until the next. Only words of love will fill the room for all who listen, for me and for you. After that, you're going to take the book of matches and put them into the container and pour the water over them. Then you're going to close the container and put it in your freezer and keep it there until the spell works, until the gossip stops. After the gossip stops, you're going to remove the container from the freezer, let it thaw, pour out the water, bury the matches. And as you cover the matches with dirt, you're going to say, take the energy from those unkind words, break them down, and use them for new growth. It is done. Or something along those lines. Basically, you're releasing that energy back into the world. And that is your ending gossip spell. Knock that shit off. Quit it.
We don't fucking need it. Okay. The next one I have is for energy cleansing, because we all fucking know what it's like going back into the office after a really tense day the day before, and just like knowing that energy is still kind of sitting there. And you don't have to be witchy in any way, shape, or form to just walk back in and be like, damn it.
Right. Like, ugh.
Like, ugh, I have to be here again. And like, it's just in the air. It's just stale. It's stagnant. You got to get rid of it. So this is a different way of cleansing the energy rather than just taking a nice little smudge stick. Because to be honest, sometimes people don't like not necessarily smudge sticks, but like there's reasons they might not be able to have it. Whether it's like they want to be cognizant of the fact that like Palo Santo is, I think, strictly something that you have to get from a tribe. Or like the white sage is something that you need to specifically get from a tribe because it's
right, like cultural things.
Yeah, like cultural reasons, health reasons, whatever the case is. So people need
and some
other
offices can't have
ways.
fire.
Yeah,
like we're not supposed to have candles or anything in our offices.
Yeah. I think it's one thing, like, it's okay for us because it's like there's 4 technical people that should be like working there. So I think no one's ever said no, but
right.
So but this is to reset the energy again after that interaction, meeting, whatever that was tense or difficult. So you're going to take a sprig of rosemary, a small bell or chime or something along those lines, in a bowl of salt water. Now, you don't need to have the actual, like, from the sea salt water. If you have ocean water, sweet, you already got it. If you don't, just add salt to it. It's fine. It doesn't have to be specific, and that's something that I've learned too in my like little journey, that things like this doesn't need to be specific. It might say that, but like you don't need to actually hike 7 mountains and get spring water from each one of them to have like a power of something else. You don't need that. But anyway, so you're going to dip the rosemary in salt water and you're going to flick those droplets around the room while ringing a bell gently. Now, if you don't have a bell, or you don't have like a chime, or maybe witchcraft is not well liked where you work, you can use something else. You don't need to use those 2 specific items. You just need to have like a like another type of cleansing the air sort of thing. And I had it up what you could use instead, and I didn't look. You can clap instead. You can use your own voice instead of like you can make a small bell sound or whatever. Gosh, sorry. I have the worst heartburn right now because I drank orange juice. And did you know you can actually get low acid orange juice?
I did not, but
I didn't know either, and I was like, what the fuck? But you can use other things for like the sound. So you can use like a cup. We have like coffee cups, and you can just like tap it or whatever, or you can use like noise on your phone, or you can just play calming music.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But you're going to say something along the lines of, by sound and scent, let tension be spent. The space is clear. The space is kind. You don't have to say that. It could just literally be about your tension, or your intention, especially because sometimes I dwell on things, especially after like an intense meeting. Just, was it something I could have prevented? Was it something I did wrong? Was there any way for me to change the outcome? Or like, is this going to, you just dwell on these feelings. So this is definitely what you need after all of that. So you can be thinking all of your uncalm thoughts and kind of putting that energy into this cleansing. But for those who don't know, rosemary is considered a powerful purifier. It's actually used in a lot of traditions to help banish that negativity and protect sacred space. It smells really good too, so it's great. And in this context, it's like a reset button for the emotional atmosphere, which is great. The bell or chime, sound can clear stagnant energy. The vibration breaks up tension and invites fresh, neutral vibes. It's also kind of one of those phenomena where you are listening to music, whether it doesn't matter the kind of music that you're listening to, whatever music you want to listen to. Sometimes you just like your kind of energy just comes back and you're able to get shit done. It's really nice to have that like motivation that you can get shit done. And that salt is very grounding and protective because it is essentially mined from the earth. Water is emotional and can be cleansing. So when you take your shower and you can do water magic in there, you can clean out your bathroom to cleanse your water source so that when you do take a shower, you release that stagnant energy. So together, they really represent the purification of both space, spirit, and everything in between.
Yeah. Nice.
Thanks.
Okay. This one is about project deadlines. Because in literally any industry, there are deadlines. And this is a way it's a manifestation spell to help you get things done on time or earlier. This is a spell that you're probably going to want to do or no, not probably. It says you're going to want to do this at your main altar. So, like, you're probably going to want to do this at home, not at the actual office. And you're going to want to have an item that represents each of the elements. The author of this book suggests using items from your office that correspond to the elements, such as a yellow sticky note to represent air, a red paper clip to represent fire. So she's using colors here for these. A blue pen to represent water, a green push pin or thumbtack to represent earth. And then you're going to also need a calendar and a marker. You're going to place each of the corresponding elements with in their direction on the altar. So the yellow item to the east, or the air item to the east, the red item to the south, blue to the west, and green to the north. You're going to cast your circle of protection, and if you so choose, invite the guides to watch over your spell. And then you're going to sit at your altar with your calendar and use your marker to write down all of the work deadlines or project deadlines that you have, and write on the calendar when you need to have specific tasks done so you can complete the whole project on time. If you struggle with breaking down the bigger projects into smaller tasks, maybe think about that before you start the spell and write down like a short list of like the tasks. That way you can just copy them onto the calendar when you're ready. And you're using a marker because you want this to be permanent. So once you have it all written onto your calendar, you're going to say some version of the dates are set for things I need to complete. The steps are clear to get me there. My focus is aligned. Motivation is high. Let the energy fuel my work. To move things from to do to done. So you're going to then thank the elements if you're using or guides, and close the circle. And then you're going to hang your calendar where you will see it throughout your workday to help keep you focused on the tasks you need to work on. So you're doing the spell at home, but then you can take that calendar with you to your office to help you stay focused and keep your attention strong. So, yeah.
She might have 18 more, but I only have one more spell, so
I'm only going to talk about one more because a lot of mine, like I had one that was wash the day away. Well, that's similar to your purifying one. So like some of mine kind of go along with yours.
Honestly, though, wash the day away. When you get home, take a nice hot fucking shower or cool shower, whatever the fuck you want, and then just relax after that.
Yeah. Wash that energy off.
Yeah. So mine is about present. So being purposeful with yourself at work. There's a lot of times where you get into a very, very rough rut in life, and you tend to just kind of get bored, and I don't want to say quiet quit because that's like an extreme version of it, but you have a tendency to like just get used to the mundane, and you have to break that up. And this is kind of how you can do that. So this right here can help you and your staff stay grounded and focused when there is a lot of chaos happening. Because sometimes you just shut down when there's so much going on. You just shut down, and that's fine. Yeah. That happens. Because we're not made to handle all of that. So you shutting down is not you being weak. That is a normal response to being overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. I have to learn that, and I'm still learning that, but just a brief reminder for everyone. So for this, you're going to need a small stone from the neighborhood. Basically, you want something that's going to be a symbol of like that connection, that local whatever. So anything from the ground that you work on, whether that's a rock from when you walk into your office building or whatever, you're going to need something like that. You are going to need a drop of peppermint oil, and then a sticky note with a personal mantra. So whether that's something you come up with, that's something that you live by, whatever it is, you are going to anoint the stone with that peppermint oil, and you're going to place it on your desk. On it, you are going to write a mantra, something like, I serve with strength and grace, and I keep it visible. It's what are the affirmations? Like some type of affirmation. Um, and it helps you kind of come back to it. Now you can write on the stone itself with like a sticky note, or not a sticky note, but with like a marker. You don't necessarily have to have whatever. Um but that's something that you can do to kind of keep that going. So again, the reason behind these choices are like that stone is going to help you tie your the mundane basically to where you work, the community, whatever. It's a brief reminder, if you want to get that deep into it. It's like a brief reminder that this stone, it represents real people and like the places behind what you do and your paperwork and all of that. The peppermint oil, it stimulates mental clarity and alertness. So whenever you're like sick or stuffy, sometimes people um, put like peppermint oil or like a Vicks or something to help stimulate your nose and the cavities and help clear them out. So it kind of gives that clarity that you need to breathe. Winky face. um, and also, if you eat peppermint or any type of mint and you do not feel cold or like alert afterwards, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because
That's also
I don't know.
like folk remedy for like heat stroke and overheating is to put peppermint on the
Yeah.
back of your neck, peppermint oil on the back of your
Yeah, because
neck.
it
And
cools it off. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
whenever I have like a headache or something like that, I have peppermint oil at work. I tend to just tap it on there when I'm
Yep.
like hot, or I not necessarily when I have a headache, when I'm hot, to prevent a headache from happening.
Yeah.
Um but anyways, a whiff of this can really sharpen your focus and lift that fatigue, especially during long meetings. So if you have like um if you're about to go into like a 2-hour meeting, like dab it in places where you can like easily like smell or like get whiffs of it as you're like talking. um and then that sticky note or that that mantra that you write, that's your anchor. It personalizes the spell for you and it keeps your intention visible, reinforcing your role and your mindset. And if you don't have time to do any of these, you can actually just do like a sigil of some sort. I mean, you don't have to like go through the whole whatever. You can just grab like a bowl or whatever and write these sigils on it with the same intention. And basically do the same stuff. Now, I'm not
Nice.
very good with sigils, so I don't know what you need to do, but same ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of depends who you ask. Some people say you can draw your own sigils. Some people say you can't. Like, um, but yeah. So I'm going to do one more as well. This will be the last one for this episode. And this one is because we are both kind of in positions of leadership. And I'm trying to get into an even higher position of leadership right now. This one is about, I forget what it was called. That was the name of it was on the bottom. Leadership. It's just called leadership spell. Okay. So as leaders, you have to make tough decisions. You have to resolve conflict. Sometimes you have to do these things quickly. You have to be encouraging, but also hold people accountable. There's a lot to it. And this is going to help you embrace your leadership qualities and handle some of those challenges with more confidence. This spell is we're creating a talisman. So you're going to need a red candle and a red stone. This is going to symbolize courage and protection. It's going to assist you in problem solving and cast away negative thoughts. The best day for this spell is a Tuesday because that day rules leadership. Um, and fire is going to be the element that powers this spell because it corresponds to courage, motivation, and innovation. Um, so you're going to light your red candle and set the red stone next to it. And say something along the lines of fire from the south, warm me with courage, let your flame protect me from criticism, and guide me as I guide others and lead with certainty. Then you're going to hold the stone in your dominant hand. So for me, that would be my right hand. And you're going to waft the candle smoke, like the smoke from the candle, around the stone and repeat whatever phrase you choose 2 more times. And then set the stone next to the candle on your altar and wait and allow the candle to burn all the way out. Once the candle burns down, you can carry the stone with you when you need extra courage to lead the way. And I don't know about you, but you can go on like Amazon or really any like metaphysical type website, and they have those necklaces that are like crystal cages. And you can get, not the metal ones are more expensive, but you can get just like the rope ones. You can get like 20 for $5. So that might be a good thing. Or if you are not a jewelry type person or can't wear that type of jewelry in your workplace, you could just put it in your pocket, in your bra. I used to have a girl that worked for me that would come and her titties would clank with how many crystals she had in there. So like, just you're going to carry it with you when you need that extra confidence. If you can't carry it with you for whatever reason, I'm sure putting it on your desk or under your chair or something like that would also work. But that is a little leadership spell. I didn't realize it ahead of time, but the 4 that I picked to actually talk about were all like confidence, confidence, confidence. It kind of feels like maybe that's a theme for me that I need to explore right now. You're still muted.
I think it's really hard to build that confidence too when you are either new to the field or when you're constantly like putting out fires.
Yeah, and I suffer from imposter syndrome horribly, not just at work, but like also in my personal life. I auditioned for this play and I'm like, I got a not main part, but like a decent sized part. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm not good enough for this. Like, but
Yeah, it's crazy what happens when you're like, did I really get this?
yeah. So I'll probably be doing some of these confidence spells and adapting them for the theater
Mm-hmm.
as well because yeah.
Anytime I get like an email from one of my directors and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm doing something new. Like, I really want you to be a part of it, and this is the character I want you to play. Would you be willing and would you be able to give the time to do that?" And I always say yes because like I really enjoy this director. He's really great.
And
He's
the
very
experience,
easy
like
to
build your portfolio.
yeah, and he's really easy to like work with. So if I have an issue with like um schedule or whatever, he is more than willing to work with you. There was obviously like some issues during like the first season of the show I'm in, with scheduling and all of that, but he's got a really decent like idea on how things are going to like he's planned it out a lot better and it's a lot easier to work with. So when he was like, yeah, I'm going to be doing this for a Halloween episode, and I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do that. And then he goes, okay, and in November I want us to start working on this type of show, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it just makes me sometimes I think like, is it just easy to like pick me because I'm here, I'm able to like do all of this? Like, do I actually have these skills? I know I could be better. But like you can always be better at something.
Right.
But like, is this accurate life? So I feel that.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome
So
is real. It's rough.
yeah.
But
But until next time.
bye.